What's going on, guys? It's me. This is about to be life testimonies. This is part two. In the series for me. As I chimed in on the first part of the series, everybody knows I was born, my parents' names, if I had any brothers or sisters, um, and you know how I really felt at that moment in time. Um, Talked about a lot about sports and about my cousin and my cousins and everybody. Um, this one, part two now, I'm gonna talk about now is that hey, I'm a preteen now, everybody. So, you know, I'm in middle school and I'm really starting to basically come into my own. You know, to learn and try to find my way. And it was kind of really hard for me because there were two places that I hated going to. I hated going to school, and then I used to hate going home. Um, and that's tough because as a preteen, I mean, being where I was from at the time, out in the country, you don't have any transit buses like it's here, like where I'm at now, to the point of where, you know, hey, I can just get on, catch the bus, and just ride out somewhere or whatever, and go chill, and when I, you know, and doing stuff or whatever. It was never like that. I had to go. The only places that I could go without asking any of my parents for transportation is, you know, to school and back home. That was it, which was the school bus for me. So, in the moment, for me, or whatever, the reason why I didn't like going to school, and it wasn't because of the teachers, it wasn't because of the curriculum, like I hated, like if I hated school as in curriculum, because you know, I loved all classes. I loved hearing about each and every single thing. The one thing that I hated about it was I used to get teased a whole lot in school, which I didn't like. And instead of me taking the approach of fighting back, I let it stay in and I packed it in. Um, so basically, my father kept telling me, man, you better fight. And I just took my mom's approach. You know, my mom's a very nice, soft lady. You know, very soft-spoken, nice lady. She doesn't take any mess, but sometimes, you know, at times she would just take stuff and just let it go as it may. And I just held it in. I really held everything in and packed it in, and I used to go into the bathroom and cry. I used to come home and cry. I used to do a whole lot of stuff. You know, at that moment in time, for me, I didn't like not being, I did not like being home. Mainly because of the series and the situations of my father. My father was the absolute hardest person on me. He was the hardest person ever. And he treated me harder than most. He was cruel, he was ruthless. He said everything he wanted to say to me. Later on in life, he told me that he said, I told you that, and I treated you like that, and chastised you the way that I did because I knew that you could take it. And it was hard for me to take because I'm sitting there's a guy that I love dearly, and why is he talking to me in this manner, in this tone? It was very hard for me at that moment in time because I'm sitting there like, why couldn't you just say it this way instead of saying, for example, I'm gonna use an example. Like, hey, you're supposed to say like I'm taking out the trash. Hey, hey Chris, you're supposed to take out the trash today, this morning, and you didn't. Go ahead, just take out the trash now, but don't forget next time, you know what I mean? Instead of that, I got the Chris, what the fuck was you thinking about type deal. What the fuck was you thinking about? You're supposed to take out the trash this morning, you didn't. You just forgetting like you just dumb as hell. Take that fucking trash out now before I whoop your ass. And I couldn't take it. It was an honest, mistake. And, at the time, I might say, Dad, I forgot, I was in a rush, I was running to do things. He didn't care. He didn't care. In ways I thank him for that, for me being, or telling me that, because of this. It made me think of things not to do whenever I had my children. And it built me up into the point of me playing sports. So where it didn't matter what coaches said, it didn't matter what people said about me and my talent. About me, I knew that I was very talented and I was going to do whatever I wanted to do anyway. So, in dealing with that, it made me hate being home too. The only best part that I can even remember about school in between that time, for me being in middle school and in high school, was that I love sports. I love sports. I love my teammates. And most of my teammates were my friends. And that was the main reason why I went to school. That was the main reason why I got the grades that I got. And people didn't know at that moment in time that that's the reason why I love being at school, was just because of sports. So, like I said, I got teased a lot. People call me ugly. I'm playing basketball, and people saying, I don't know why you made the basketball team, because don't know teams have ugly basketball players and so forth and so on and everything like that. And I would tell people my dreams and aspirations of doing what I wanted to do. And they would say it's never going to happen. Don't know college is one of the ugly ball players, or anything of that nature. And it bothered me and it frustrated me. But the other thing that it did, it drove me. It boosted me to the point of, I'm going to do what I want to do, no matter what they say. I'm going to succeed at this. And I did. I did for the most part. For me and myself, I played ball in middle school. It was good. What really boosts me in that situation was this, my 7th grade year. I went and I tried out, and I ended up making the team. And a lot of the guys did not know really how good I was. I'm gonna move due to my lighting. a lot of guys really didn't know how good I was at that point in time. Um, because I never did anything like, an example, go and play with guys in the neighborhood, or anything like that. But what really boosted me was my talent. Um, Everybody knew that my talent was basically undeniable. Um, what shocked a lot of people was that they didn't know that I didn't play sports. I didn't play any organized sports until I got into seventh grade. And I went ahead and did what I had to do. And I was shocked, and people were, basically shocked. I went, tried out for the team, made the team. Not only did I make the team, but I started in seventh grade, led the team in rebounding, and I was second on team in points. But I was first in assists. Now at the time, I'm all of 5'5" tall. And everybody was talking about, well, what's the reason why? How was I a good rebounder? It's not about how tall you are, it's about positioning. And I knew how to position myself at that moment in time. With that, and with me playing sports, I thought that I would get the accolades from my peers. Hey, good job, this, that, whatever. I want to get the fame. And I think about that. I get the fame. I see, for me, was with the girls. Yeah, I can get girls. They would love it. And I see how it is in movies like, top sports guys and all that stuff in school and all that. They got all these girls around them. It wasn't so. It wasn't so. And it bothered me a lot. I get teased a lot. I heard I would be in pain. My father, who I love dearly, never came to any of my games. He came to one. And he came to one game, and that was it. And when I was in middle school, came to one. I was in seventh grade, and at the time, my coach, Coach Henry Holmes, who I will do a video on when I do my most inspirational people in my life, because he's one of the most inspirational people in my life, sent a letter to the high school stating that, once I get there, that I deserve to at least be on the JV team. When I'm there, because of how great my talent is and how good my talent is. Because he wanted to see the local high school improve. Never happened, was never so. So what happened was my dad pulled me. He pulled me out. He made me go stay with my grandparents. And at the time, and made me play JV sports. High school JV sports in 8th grade. Which I thought that it was harsh, but I thank him for that experience, because the reason why I thank him for letting me have that experience and giving me that experience is because of this. If it wasn't for that, I think I would have never been the ball player that I ever was today. It made me mad because he told me to pack my stuff and that I was leaving the house. When I said this, and I'm sitting here like, my dad is kicking me out. And I'll never forget that. I went down, I came in, and I went to my grandparents' house, and I get there, and I'm sad that first night, and I'm crying, and my grandmother wants to know what's wrong, and I simply said what was going on. And she simply was like, I said, my dad doesn't want me. And it was tough for me to say that. And she was like, why do you think your dad doesn't want you? What she didn't know is what I knew. Was one time he had got drunk. He was talking to me. He said, I'm a mistake. And that he wished I was never born. Now, to instill that and to say that to me at that age, it really kind of sort of bothered me. It bothered me a whole lot. And all I wanted was the recognition and the love from my father that I never really got until years later. And there's a reason why I got it years later. So, as in for me, within I went there and I built up a lot of hatred back then. And I would let that hatred out on the football field and on the basketball court. That's where I would definitely let all the hatred out because I figured if he doesn't love me, I can do this. I need to get the heck out of here. And every time I felt down about anything in any situation while I was there my whole way for a year, I thought about him. And I thought about playing against him when I played against anybody else. Because that's what I wanted to get away from. I wanted to get away from that. I wanted to do what I had to do with that. And it helped me out. So fast forward, okay, great. Then all of a sudden I move again. Move back, go to the local high school. And I remember coming in and I remember trying out and they wouldn't let me try out with the JV squad. They made me try out with the varsity squad. All because due to the letter that Henry Holmes sent with that. So, in dealing with that, it was certainly tough enough because I'm like, okay, I gotta do this. I'm nervous. These guys, I'm 14 years old. These guys look older, they look bigger than me. And at the time, I'm only 139 pounds soaking wet, so I gotta go out here and do what I have to do. And I was a great passer of the basketball. And I used to go out and I threw a couple passes and hit a couple people in the head. And they said, yeah, he's going to be our starting point guard. And I've been playing point guard ever since. Going back a few months to football, I started on defense playing football, and I loved it. Like I said, all I wanted was love and recognition from people. And I never got it. And it made me angry. And it hardened me to the point of, later on in life, is that I'm going to make people feel the same hurt that I got. Steady getting teased and steady packed it in. There was a couple of times that I actually did get frustrated because I was tired of it, and I actually got into a couple of fights. And for me, what I didn't know was I really wanted to be part of the in crowd that they had in high school. Like, you always want to be part of that crowd where everybody loves you, you got the accolades. And I thought I was never in that in crowd, and I really was. I thought I was never there. The one thing that I can tell you about it is how I felt. If anybody has ever looked at the movie Love Don't Cost a Thing, which is a remake of Can't Buy Me Love that they did back in the 80s, but they did it back in the early 2000s with Nick Cannon and Christina Milian, and Keena Thompson was in it as well. I felt like how Alvin felt. I felt like I didn't fit in with anybody. I felt like I needed to fit in, and I didn't fit in. And I needed something to stand out in order for me to fit in. That's how I felt. the whole time I was in high school, I felt like I didn't fit in with people. And instead of saying, you know what, to be a trendsetter, I was trying to follow people. I was trying to follow trends instead of being my own trendsetter and being my own brand. Hindsight is 2020. I know that now, not back then. The one toughest thing that I can definitely remember is this, is not having the dating experience like everybody else had in high school. Like I would love to go out on dates, and I would love to do that and would been with somebody and to actually have girlfriends and stuff like that. And it really never really happened, you know. And I used to get shut down. I mean, I used to get laid out, cussed out, anything you name of, that's what I got. So it was really hard for me in high school for that. So I'm going to go fast forward a little bit. High school's, didn't really like being in high school. Like I said, still didn't like being at home because my dad got even harder as I got older. And it made me push myself to say, I got to get out of here. So the way I knew that I could push myself, like I said before, is through sports. Played hard, did everything I could, ended up getting a scholarship to go to school. So, with that, things started to change. As soon as I found out I got a scholarship, that's when people wanted to come to flock to me. Congratulations, I really appreciate it. Yeah, because you're doing a great job and, and all this. And all of a sudden, here come the females out the woodworks. Now, it was my time for payback. It was my time for payback. Because now, I'm the hottest thing on the scene. But before, I'm not. So all that anger and all that frustration and the hate that I had ended up bursting and ended up coming out towards people. You know what I mean? And it really was not a pretty sight. It really wasn't a pretty sight because going into the college years was not good. One of the worst things ever happened in my life when I was a senior in high school was in January of 2003. My father was diagnosed with kidney failure. And I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know how to deal with it. I understand that me and my father really didn't have a great relationship. And some people would say, you don't have a great relationship, so what? He's still my father, I still love him. And that was one thing that really bothered me. And they gave him 3 to 5 years to live. And I'm sitting there like, he's not going to be able to see my younger brother graduate. He's not going to be able to see his grandkids. He's not going to be able to do anything. Lo and behold, that drove me even more to get out so that I could make sure that with my father, that he would see me in success. So that with this kidney failure, he wouldn't have to worry about nothing, and I can make sure that he get the best doctors and be in the best hospitals that he could be so that he could recover. And as I'm graduating and going into college, that's one of my main focuses as well. So I will let you guys know about my college years in the next video. I'd like to thank everybody for viewing this video right here. Please like, share this video, subscribe, and hit the bell on the side to see other videos that I have. Thank you.